Hello, everybody. So, another Sunday, and I am, of course, excited to talk about today's topic. But I have a feeling a lot of people probably heard the topic and were like, what the hell? How's this going to pertain to me? Or just not even thinking of wardrobe, clothes. Some of you might be thinking about it a lot this year. But to kick us off, I want to know in your own words how you're feeling. What comes to mind for you when you hear the topic for today? When I say spring wardrobe clean out, what do you interpret that to mean? How does it make you feel? Let's get some thoughts and convo flowing in the chat there. Spring wardrobe clean out. What comes to mind for you guys? Depressing, anxiety. I'm still trying to get rid of clothes that don't fit, lots of work, getting rid of stuff I've been hanging on to. Now, we don't even realize, get out of Spotify and back to my notes. Anxiety for sure, deflated, going through the closet and parting with clothes that aren't worn and cannot be worn. And I think that we don't even realize like what a damper this puts on the beginning of the season. And I want to talk about how to feel good about that change. I think what I hated the most about swapping out my clothes from season to season, and I had to swap it out. We had like no closet space in my old house. Those of you who remember, I converted like the little baby bedroom in my house into a walk-in closet for that reason, because it was like an old 100-year-old house with like closets this big. And so we had to swap out our winter and our spring wardrobe every season just so that we can like stock it away. I'm not going to wear a sweater in July, So I hated swapping out my stuff. And a lot of that is because every year that I put it away, I would be like, next year, this is going to fit. How many of you guys have been there before? Regret putting away stuff, like you're putting stuff away regretfully at the end of a season and you're like, all right, next year's the one. This shit, none of this is like even appealing and none of it was comfortable. None of it is even that great, but next year it must fit. Or like a dress you loved back in the day that isn't even your style anymore, but it's just the point that it doesn't fit. So, and especially, any of my OCD hoarding spectrum type of people watching this, you know how easy it is to collect stuff. So at least for me, it's very easy to collect stuff. That is just part of my own OCD, and that's like a neurodivergence thing for a lot of different reasons. But we attach sentiment to our clothes. How many of you guys have an item of clothing that's sentimental, but it's like ratty as hell? But and it's not even like a sentimental thing like, oh, my parent who's no longer with us gave me this. Like, it was just like worn at a friend's party one time and it was a good time. And somehow that hoodie from like 10 years ago is like, oh man, I wish that would just look nice and baggy on me again. I've definitely been guilty. That's why I can be so specific. I have that hoodie. So let me see what you guys are saying up here. Yep, I have clothes from 5 years ago. I said that about every year. I'm such a clothes hoarder. It's so hard to get rid of stuff for me. Same. I can't tell you how many, just like, we'll get to that. But I have a box of pre-baby clothes from 8 years ago. I get emotional attachment to each thing I buy. All of my Lily dresses from when I was skinny, would I ever buy them now? No, but I only wore them a few times before gaining weight. Right. So it feels like injustice, right? I have my size 2 jeans from college. Oh man, that's brutal. College jeans. Oh, so I have an emotional support sweatshirt that has holes yet. Well, that's different. Like we definitely have like those ratty clothes that it's kind of like, it's just the softest material you can find, or it fits a certain kind of way, you wear it till it's threads kind of thing. But, it's more so like the sentiment of life moving faster than we're realizing, because you blink and it goes from last year where you said you're going to fit in that stuff to now it's this year. And let's say that stuff doesn't fit. It's so easy to have that kind of overshadow the whole year, let's say, or overshadow any good things that are happening. I call it a punch in the gut moment. You know, when you go trying stuff on in the store and it looks like, you know, you look in the mirror and you're like, who is that? Or when you see a picture and you couldn't like untuck the bra from like under your bra fat before the picture was taken, you know, like all those moments, they just rob us of a true lived experience, right? And it all kind of stems from clothes, the way clothes fit us, the way we try to force them to fit us, or the way we celebrate when clothes that are smaller fit us, or when really it's not even about the damn clothes, right? So let's see what else. I talked faster than my notes. So tell me your thoughts on that. I look at old photos with clothes I was able to wear and feel sad. I look at old pics and I'm like, oh my God, I missed that shirt. And then my day is ruined. It's a punch in the gut moment, you know? And I think the most important thing is to try to eliminate as many punch in the gut moments as possible. What do I mean by that? Getting rid of the clothes that are in that like fantasy pile of one day it'll fit, you know, like, okay, you love those jeans in 2014. I would say that the cost per wear of buying a new pair that fit you perfect now is going to far exceed all of the work you're going to put in to fit into those jeans from 2014, right? So as we're going through this whole conversation, I want you guys to start thinking like, what are my punch in the gut moments? Is it unpacking of the clothes? Is it the buying of the new clothes? What do I hate about it? Because you know me and my style. Well, most of you guys do. If you're new, you will learn. But I love looking at the data. I love looking at what went wrong, what's difficult, what's an obstacle, because then it's something to outsmart and work around, not just say, I'm going to get better about that. Everybody's favorite thing to say when they feel bad they haven't yet. But when we're able to pick at the specific thing that needs strengthening or fixing, it has this massive domino effect. So here are some reasons, because I had a someday pile, like, oh, someday I'll fit back into that, you know. And then I had my clothes that will do. And then when I had to go anywhere, the clothes that will do, I hated them all. They all sucked. They didn't fit on me the right way. I had definitely Hulk ripped a few open. True story. I think I still have it. And it's quite literally torn apart. So we don't talk about clothes hoarding. But, you know, and I had a clothes I wish I had the balls to wear shopping cart at like every site that had cute clothes that never got checked out. Like, oh, I wish kind of cart, right? So all this kind of power struggle with clothes. And I want to hear what you guys think of this. I'm going to rattle a couple of them off. And then I want to hear if something really, like one of the ones I'm reading, stands out to you, just put a heart in the chat. Okay. So 1, you stuff into the sausage casing pants and you feel miserable because it's like, that is it. I'm going to lay on this bed and I'm going to freaking suck in. I'm going to pull these pants up. I don't care. It's the moral. And you're just miserable about it the whole time because you like cannot breathe. And it's like a constant reminder as it digs into your gut that these pants don't fit. You turn down more invites because you just don't want to deal. Maybe it's a formal event and you have to like buy new outfits for it or something. And you're like, that sounds like hell. So you just turn it down when it could be an opportunity, whether it be for your career, for your family, for friends, you know, and it like kind of goes out the window because the first thing you think of is, what do I wear? This one's huge. This was like, I could have a whole, not even a night ruined, but a fight started with somebody else if I didn't like the way that I looked. So your entire human experience in the company of other humans is being boiled down to if the clothes fit / you look thin in them. And my question I always try to ask myself is what did I say here? If the company of these people was snatched away from you, would you have regretted spending the time with them that you had before that happened? Let's say, you know, they got Thanos blipped away or something. Would you look back and be like, damn, I didn't even pay attention to those people in front of me. I didn't even like enjoy that whole experience because I was like sitting there thinking about my shirt being tight. How about this one? Styles change. But rather than allow yourself to upgrade and enjoy your own personal style, you're waiting to fit into jeans from 2014. Like you don't deserve the newest trends. You don't deserve the newest types of clothes. Why? Because it's a size. But I get it. I've been there. So all of this, you can work hard to work on up here, but if the clothes that you're putting on, you don't feel grateful for them. And I don't mean in a material sense. I mean, like, just generally, we don't feel good to have those clothes. If they're making you feel any kind of negativity, like, it's like having, I don't know, it's a bad analogy because I would still keep the asshole pet. But I'm saying it's like having an asshole pet. Like, you feed this pet and it just bites you all the time. It's like that kind of connects to the body mind connection video a couple weeks ago. If this is how we're treating our body from the outside, how can we expect to feel better from the inside out? Like, how could we expect to enjoy our lives even if we're dealing with this stuff? There's no like, you have to suffer this amount to justify enjoying your life. Like, the two can happen at the same exact time, but it cannot happen in tight ass pants, So size 16 or size 6, you got to wear clothing anyway this summer, right? You got to dress your ass anyway. So you make it comfy, make it cute, make it a little bit where people look at you and go, should she be wearing that? Because who cares? Are they going to pay you? They're going to bang you? Are you going to know who they are when you leave the parking lot? No, and it's hot out. So now, one of my favorite questions, this is a good one. I want to hear feedback on this, and I'll go back and read the things that you guys have sent so far. But what is holding you back from saying, fuck it if somebody thinks that I look fat? What's the worst thing that can happen? So truly, I want to ask you guys, what's the worst thing that could happen if somebody you meet out and about this summer thinks you look fat? The hurt of nasty comments. Yeah, but if their nasty comment is you look fat, okay, there is no real reason. Like, there is no real bad thing about it. It's all man-made. It's all created. There's no inherently nasty thing about any body shape, size, anything. That's why, back in the day, you wanted to look like you were on death's doorstep and, one French fry short of, buying the farm. And now it's like, you got to look like a molar with a giant ass and giant hips and like no body anywhere else. Like, why are body types a trend? Because it's arbitrary what's attractive. So if somebody else who's not living your suffering, they're not feeling how you feel every day, they haven't gone and dieted and gone through all the bullshit that you've gone through, and they can just sit here and like decide what's trendy, and you have no intention of like getting with these people, getting paid by these people, and no, there's nothing that benefits your life in any way if they think you're fat, then isn't it worth, I'm going to ask it this way, isn't it worth trying to no longer give a shit? Because when you find something that's been, you've been doing something for a decade, but let's say you find out, oh, that's inefficient, and somebody shows you a way that is more efficient and you get better results than you have and you feel better and all of this stuff, would you be like, no, I've always thought this way, so I'm going to go with that way? You'd want that more efficient way of thinking. So if you guys have thought about clothes, your body, your image in the summertime, in the way that you have all this time, who cares? Throw it out. Get rid of it, because that is not serving you. That hasn't led to any additional motivation in working on yourselves. It hasn't somehow cured your illnesses, right? It's done absolutely nothing to serve you to feel this way. So we're here learning how to change that. And it might feel hard, but as long as you are prioritizing trying to make peace with that, trying to say, I need to be okay with saying, if people think I'm fat, okay. Because I promise you, once you get there, your life, the amount of shit your body gives you, we're changing that from a couple Zooms ago, but how hard your body is fighting to keep you alive and to keep you going every day. And to put it, like, to set it up for failure in that way, come the warmer months, you got to live that experience. So it's like choosing a rougher go of it. It doesn't make anybody try harder if you hate yourself. As much as we want to think that, is not the case. We don't take care of things we hate. We don't want to spend time with things we can't stand. So to get to that point, we got to say, I want to think differently. I don't want to be this person who boils their worth and the company of others and everything down into, if these shorts are a size 6 or a size 10, if they're a size 16 or size 24. The people in your life, if they're only there because of what size is on your shorts, then you got bigger problems than weight issues. I'm just saying. So let's see. I saw a bunch of hearts. I'm scrolling way up. Stitch Fix. Evie was talking to me about Stitch Fix. It's such a cool concept, but I feel like I would be nervous because I would get excited to get something and then it wouldn't be my style at all. And then I don't know, the prices range and stuff. I'm a big fan of Shein. And I'll get into that because it's like when you have a restaurant you love and then your friend goes there without telling you and they go on a night where it's like they don't have a good chef in or something, and then they think that like that's their interpretation of this restaurant forever. And you have you guys ever felt that way? That's what I feel like Shein is, when people go in and they're just like, ooh, cute and cheap, and then they order it and I'm like, there's a process, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Stitch Fix, I hear great things and I don't know why I'm overwhelmed by it. So I definitely did that recently to get rid of even the stuff that fit that I bought just so it would fit, but I didn't like it and didn't feel good in it. I used to feel like I had to hoard any piece of clothing that fits at all. You can just be selective. If something fits on you, but you're like, but to be honest, this fits, but I feel so frumpy when I wear this. There could be somebody out there who has no pants and they would love your frumpy pants. You know, donate that shit, because I love, it's the way I make peace with hoarding stuff is I don't hoard like garbage, you know, I hoard like items. So the Lupus Foundation, actually, if you set it up, they take absolutely everything and you set up a pickup date. So you put all the items in like a black bag or whatever, and you label it on the outside with tape. You put it on your doorstep or outside, like if you have a building, you can put it around the side or in the main lobby or whatever. And you would just set it up with them where you pick your time, like your appointment time for their pickup. You don't have to be there, but just so you know when to go leave the stuff. And then the date of your appointment, leave it outside, they pick it up, they mail you a receipt, like a tax deductible little doodad, and they take absolutely everything. So I can't stand wasting things. It's a big OCD trigger for me. I hate even throwing like egg yolks out if I'm separating the two. My grandmother was exactly the same way. So I like to think of my nonna every time I say that, because we'd find like rancid egg yolks in the back of her fridge all the time. And I'm like, where did I get that from? So I would think, you know, if you have stuff that's like, you're never going to wear it, you don't like it, you don't feel good about yourself in it, no matter what size, give it to somebody who would love to use it now. So let's see. I'm thinking the same thing though, usually. Yeah, but what's the part? What is inherently bad about fat? Like, I know it seems like such a stupid, radical question, because we're so trained and indoctrinated into thinking that we're these awful, slovenly, diseased, lazy, gross, like, you know, unwanted people if we're not thin, but none of that's real. You know, so at the end of the day, why is it gross? Why is it bad? And also, why does it matter if like some person thinks that? Then they're not people you want to hang out with. You know, what would you want to be thin to have that person who's clearly an asshole hang out with you? There are a lot other things to put your energy into that are going to return a better investment than that. So pictures, people take and post them all the time. So here's my little immersion therapy type technique with that. Next time someone's got a camera, go be extra over the top. It's okay if it's fake. What do you have to lose? If you sat there and tried to practice and pose and look great for the picture, you probably would still hate it. And it even feels worse because you sat there trying to not hate it. But if you decide to be like silly, fun, over the top, like excited, if you're going to hate the way you look anyway, don't fuss about the way you look. That's the whole thing I'm saying, is like a truce. You know, it's kind of like, if I'm going to feel these things about myself, despite how hard I'm going to try, despite the clothes, despite the primping, despite anything, I know I'm still going to feel this way. Then why the hell put so much effort into fighting it? Just freaking go and have fun and like, you know, okay, here's my role, you know, it's hanging out, here's my picture. Everyone who loves you will still love you. Anyone who doesn't love you because of that, whew, life is a fantastic sifting process, is what I'll say. So, like everyone I knew thin sees me now must think I let myself go or something. They might, but I like to see them get an incurable illness that pops out of nowhere and makes them gain weight and feel like shit and like not feel like have brain fog and have hair loss and have all of the things we deal with. I would love to see those people. And like, I don't wish that on my worst enemy. So for a day, I would like them to experience a humbling day in the life, but maybe not easy at first. You can think of it and pity them because they are completely ill-equipped to handle something like that. And they're pretty shallow if they're that, or I should say ignorant. These days, there's so much knowledge available that weight is not just about sitting around eating yodels all day. So if they're that ignorant, poor them, bless their heart, you know? I just decided to embrace it. Yeah, fat isn't inherently bad. If people hate because I'm fat, then that's their problem. Again, what does fighting that exact, making peace with that statement, does it stop us from doing the things we got to do for our hormones? No, because we don't want to feel like shit anymore. And the weight's there from the hormones and everything, guys. Like, so does it do anything to not hate yourself in the process? Doesn't help. It doesn't hurt. Well, I mean, it does help. It doesn't hurt your progress not being hard on yourself and being super mean and degrading or feeling discouraged. It's not going to make you feel better about failing or any of the things we tell ourselves. So just owning it, it's kind of like white flag. It is what it is, you know, and I guarantee you and that doesn't mean, you know, you're going to always look like this. So that doesn't mean that that's like, we don't have the power to say, I don't want to look a certain way, or I do want to look a certain way forever. That consistency we fight for does not exist. So, you know, if you're doing the things you got to do to help your body out, and now you have less stress because you're not sitting there beating the shit out of yourself mentally every day. If all those things are your ducks are in a row, your weight will change and you'll have the time to allow that to happen, because whether we are beating our own ass or whether we're eating bonbons all day, our metabolisms are not like regular people's metabolisms. So we could either poo-poo about it, or we could say, you don't like it, look elsewhere and enjoy what time we have with the people with us. Doesn't mean you're going to hear this Zoom and like go out tomorrow and be like, who wants to take a picture of me doing this cartwheel? You know, like I don't expect anybody to have to do that, but I hope that it plants a seed for you guys to feel like this radical thought of, what if I just didn't give a shit anymore? Or I tried to learn how to not give a shit anymore. It doesn't mean you're going to go off the deep end. It just means you're not going to be miserable. So, and anybody who's mean to someone for being heavy is probably, just going to be honest, dumb, doesn't get laid a lot, and has like very limited knowledge. Well, I guess that's dumb, but like very like limited upbringing. You know, like people who are assholes enough to make fun of weight in this day and age, you know, it's not like 1994. Like, I don't understand, you know. I think that just says a lot about them. No one happy is sitting there and trying to insult you and wants to, because like, does it hurt you guys? The idea of hurting somebody else, does it make you feel physically ill to think about you just like laughing and being mean and calling somebody else fat? You know why? Because you're not an asshole. They are. That's who they are. That's who they go home to partners that have to deal with that. You know, there are a lot worse things in that person's life than them calling you fat. Truly, peaceful, happy people don't go around trying to break other people's spirits. So I feel like they wouldn't take the time to get to know me or connect with me because I didn't fit some standard. But then I think that if that matters, then why do I care about being friends with that person? 100%. We're not auditioning for some kind of reality show here where everybody looks the friggin' same. Let's be honest. You know, like we're just like living our lives. If there's someone else that is so shallow and superficial that they don't want to know you because of the way you look, they probably are a drag to hang out with. They would probably offer absolutely no value to your relationship anyway, and they would just be a waste. That's the way I view it. It has nothing to do with your size. It has to do with them only being like able to have a certain kind of friendship. Ew. You know, I would rather know right away if they're that kind of a person or not. If you treat me like shit because I'm chunky, I'm gonna think like you're just not a good friend and you're not a nice human. No sense getting close to people like that. So, like I said, life is a fantastic sifting experience. So, let's see. I feel like a lot of times I think I look really good, cute, then I will take a picture next to skinny friends, and then wearing that outfit makes me sad, and seeing pictures makes me feel bad about myself. Dive into why. What is the worst thing if you're the biggest one of your friends? What's bad about that? What, like, try to pinpoint the actual like core reason. And I promise you, no one can find any that isn't just subjective. There's no factual reason it's bad. It is entirely just programming. And I would venture to say some of your friends in that picture are probably sitting there and fixating on how they look in the picture. I have thin clients. I have clients who have lost a tremendous amount of weight and are still having a hard time. Like, are you sure I lost a lot of weight? And I'm like, yeah, body dysmorphia is a bitch, you know? So my point is, all of that having to do with the outside appearance. I don't care if you're walking around looking like Patrick, okay? So like Patrick Star out here, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. It only matters to people that like shouldn't matter. It only matters to people who are just superficial, who are not like you, who would never exclude someone because they're bigger than you. So, and also here's a great analogy. This drives me nuts because nobody ever talks about it. Camera lenses are all distorted. All of them. There's a reason people say you look 10 pounds heavier. And now, not that that's always the case, but you don't look quite as real in photos as you do in person. And the lens has curvature to it. All lenses do. How do you think this little guy can get an entire friggin' snapshot of something? It's a contoured lens. And then on top of that, there could be dust on it. There could be lighting. There could be shadowing issues. You know, there are so many things, and it's not an excuse. How many times have you guys taken a picture of a sunset that you find to be absolutely gorgeous, and then you look on your phone and it does it no justice? It's boring. It's like, we don't look at that and go, I guess the sky looks like shit because it didn't convey properly on the phone, right? In the camera, we say, oh, I couldn't get a picture that did it justice. What you physically see in the mirror, you know, is what other people see. They see your mannerisms. They see you moving, talking. They don't see you just posing for a split second in some like prom position trying to hide everything. You know, like they see the organic view that you see in the mirror. But a camera may not always take that and completely realistically translate that. Unless you're out here with like some fancy giant lensed DSLR camera, the odds that your phone camera, your snap camera, all of those things, like they're all distorted in different ways. That's why some apps you feel like you look better on it than others. That's why you can turn off the reverse imaging, because most of them, they just flip the image. There's so much that goes into it to put our whole, I get it though. It's still, I have to remember it when it's like a really awful photo. And that happens to everyone. You've seen Beyonce out there. She had like a petition. She was like suing someone to take down candid photos. Didn't go anywhere because, but even she hates photos that aren't planned, you know, candid photos, because, you know, she looks bad in them. Photos really, I try to think of just not even paying attention to them, because also wait a year from now, look back at that picture, see if you still hate it. How many old pictures do you look at that you're like, wow, I wasn't as bad as I thought? Stitch Fix. Yes, we should start a thread. Or no, there is one, like a closed thread on there. I think a couple people posted about Stitch Fix, but I have boxes of at least 5 different sizes of clothes in my closet. I would say keep some clothes for bloating, keep some clothes, you know, that you like, that are the current, you know, well, keep all the clothes you like that fit you comfortably now, and the rest, bon voyage. I'm wearing a lot of my mom's old clothing since the pandemic, and I feel frumpy, but it was something that fit at least. I feel like it wasn't worth it to buy new clothes because I was going to lose weight, right? And everyone was staying home because of the pandemic, so what was the point? But it's been so long, and now I just want to feel like myself when I leave the house. So I've started to rebuild my wardrobe for my current size. Absolutely. And you know what? if it makes you feel better too, when you order something and you're like, let's say you're getting back into the swing of things after the pandemic, because I was the same way. I didn't buy stuff for the majority of the first 2 years because I'm like, where am I going? I got like tons of sweats. And then I realized that really didn't feel great. So I bought a lot of really poppy, springy clothes from Shein. Even if I was going to wear them around, it was like an $8 dress, then and I felt cool in it, great. But I definitely get that. Buy stuff in like a range of sizes, like 3 different sizes, if you can swing it, because you can return the ones that don't fit you the best. So I think if ever you're in question of that, that's one of my favorite little hacks. I also think a lot of times I will try to go shopping with my mom. Oh, I can't. And she will point out clothes that are more frumpy that fit or more in style for her age rather than me, who is 20. And then I have a mini breakdown in Kohl's because the clothes I want don't fit and I end up leaving with nothing. I hated shopping with my mom. My younger sibling, who was always very thin, got the cute, like trendy, really like little petite cut stuff and everything. And then like I would get the frumpiest sweater in the world and wouldn't be able to like say anything about it. And because I'm like, thanks, but we're not that far apart in age. I'm not 43 years old. Like, and my sister is 17, or sibling is 17. So I think a lot of times if you go in, if anyone else sweats when you're trying on different clothes, the lights suck. Why did they not discover make fitting rooms somewhere you want to be in and you'll probably make more money? It's like they have one giant fluorescent light above you and it's the worst experience. And then if you try to say what you're feeling, it's kind of like you feel embarrassed because you don't want people to know that that's what you're melting down about. So it's definitely a double-edged sword. Find your comfortable shopping experience. I know we talked about this. I love your post, Abby, in the page. But yeah, I think everyone needs to just find whatever is going to be the most stress-free shopping experience for you, do that. Don't force yourself to do anything that's going to be triggering. I have so many clothes that don't fit me stored in other rooms in my house. Like I give them up. I'm giving up. Why? You can buy other shit. And keeping them there and not hitting your mark it's not helping you succeed towards them, right? It's just old shit you're not going to wear probably. You're going to put it on and be like, woo, and then it's just clothes. But at what time? At what point? When? Without it sitting there and just being like, oh man, you can use it as an excuse to donate it to someone who can wear it now and buy shit for you that you could wear now. And I promise you'll look better than either squeezing into the pants or wearing something that covers up because those pants don't fit. And all of this is a choice. Everyone, I don't care if you leave the Zoom and you go throw out all your old shit. If you don't, whatever the case may be, this is all just personal choice. But I think in me, like what goes into maintaining the results the way that I have, a lot of it is just self-peace. It's just like, is this worth the effort? Is this worth the strife? Can I buy new shit now? Yes. Do I need to hate myself for being this size for the rest of my life? No, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't make me get thinner. So it doesn't make me get healthier. It doesn't put better people in my lives. This thought process is useless. And then it became a choice to want to learn to change it. So that's all I want from you guys is, do you want to not feel this way about clothes anymore? Work hard towards fixing that. I guarantee you along the way, you're not going to do unhealthy shit for yourself. So I have similar experience with my mom all the time. She picks clothes for her style and her age and that are frumpy. And then she gets mad at me when I try to explain why I don't want those clothes. Yep, I get that. Gave away all my bigger clothes when I lost weight and then had to keep buying bigger clothes as I gained it back. It was mortifying and expensive. So I'm holding on to the similar sizes in hopes I'll be able to wear them again one day. But it's like they're sitting there mocking me. Sometimes that sounds good, but if you really go and you say, okay, I'm keeping one pair of pants, I'm keeping one top, I'm keeping one thing that does not fit you at all right now. And even if you just save that, it's better than keeping the stuff. Like, this isn't just because everyone eats too many cookies. No one is here because you eat too many cookies. So having a taunting of an illness that has caused weight gain against your will and saying that it's something controllable, like I'm going to fit into those, that's literally being like, it's my responsibility to make sure this weight is lost. No, it's your responsibility to figure out why your body doesn't metabolize properly. So the amount of time that might take to change, then figure it out, then change the outside after the inside changes, you could probably buy 2 new pairs of pants, that you could wear now. You can also get things tailored up and down 2 sizes, usually, especially if it's like a good brand. Shein leaves like no seam room to take anything in or out. It's cheap. But if you have like investment pieces that, you bought, let's say if you buy new clothes for your job or something, and you have like a pair of pants that aren't just like a whatever pair, then you can always get them tailored as well. And that's usually cheaper than a new pair of pants. That's what I like about getting older. The people care less and less. No one gives a shit. How many people that are like your size or bigger, right? Do you think less of them? It's so much more common. And if somebody who is not thin is hating on you for not being thin, their issues are way worse than yours. Like, meaning up here. Because they're only coming at you that way because they hate themselves so much. Truly. They cannot fathom anybody not hating themselves if they're heavy. And that's pretty sad for them. Go live that experience. Enjoy. I think I have reverse body dysphoria. I think I look great in the mirror. That's what everybody else is seeing. Not for nothing too, though. Don't make the mistake of like looking in the mirror and giving your best Zoolander. Like what, like sometimes someone will be, I used to do this shit all the time. Like, no wonder I look great in the mirror. I'm sitting there and I'm like on my back tippy toe and I'm like pushing my hip back like I'm posing for a photo. No, that's not what people see. But the way you look pulled together, your hair, all that, that's the authentic truth. That's not just your eyes are playing tricks on you. I think it would be more likely, if you think about it this way, lighting, scenery, distortion from the camera, other people posing like jackasses. There are a million things that can make a picture bad. But what you see in the mirror, at the end of the day, let's say you are dysphoric. Great. Rock on with that. Make yourself believe you look better than you do. Everyone would have a better life and nothing would go wrong. What would be the worst part of looking better, looking worse than you think you do? You still feel good about the way you look. Who the hell gives a shit about anyone else? And also, remember I told you it flips. Everybody has asymmetrical faces. Like everyone has a different face on one side than the other. Not like everyone, most people. It's very rare to have a perfectly symmetrical face. So that also plays a part in the photo that you're seeing. So, okay. When I was still working, I would leave the house feeling great. And then their shitty mirror at work made me look like a monster. But again, that's exactly it. The shitty mirror at work. We're looking at ourselves in a car window that wraps like a round bubble around the back of someone's old ass Prius. And we're like, oh man, I look rough. Really? That's like looking at your reflection in the back of a fork and being like, this is looking tough. Like, why are we signing up for that? We're choosing that. We're purposely like saying, hey, my day isn't stressful enough. Let me sprinkle this on here and say that it's motivation. No, it's just self-torture. I think I look cute in the morning at home and then I see myself in the mirrors and under the fluorescent lights. Fluorescents make no one look good. Overhead fluorescent lights are literally flooding you from the top down topographically. Like you are a topographic map of a person from the top down when you're under a fluorescent light. It is atrocious for everyone. And it gives me migraines. I hate fluorescents. Hearing what if I just didn't give a shit, hearing the what if I just didn't give a shit mindset since starting CCA has helped me with my body image, my wardrobe, being autistic, my social anxiety, how I interact with others. I'm still working on all of those things, obviously, but I've spent so long. I almost just drilled again today. What the hell's going on? But I've spent so long stressing over those things and I've been miserable because of it. I'm starting to acknowledge how I feel because it's hard, it's bad to ignore your feelings, but then I just try to put it behind me because I don't want to be what I want it to be, what I'm fixated on. So yeah, I think, I love seeing that. And I know just from what I've seen, the amount of growth that you've had in that area, but a lot of that is fake it till you make it, right? Like providing yourself with the experience of everything being okay if you didn't harp on the way you look. And it gets easier. Oh, poor Khloe Kardashian. Katie said that makes me think of Khloe Kardashian's untouched bikini pics that were leaked. She lost her shit because of those pictures. And it's so sad because she looked fantastic. And it was an untouched photo. What a moment that would have been, but still, money, fame, those demons. I mean, people have dragged her for so long as like the fat sister. It's like, she breaks my heart. And she's like really looking like, I don't want to prejudge, but she doesn't look like she's a healthy thin right now. And I don't think anybody would be surprised if it's from stress, just she's a person after all. So, oh my God, that was so sad. Best photos of her I've ever seen. Absolutely. Where she wasn't looking like some distorted molar, like she's had a normal ass body and like, no, not even, she had a like model body still, not something you see commonly every day, but it wasn't like completely airbrushed, it's just crazy. The standards are just so ridiculous. I will never try on clothes at Target. That's one of the places that would get me every time. I would buy the cheap clearance shit I love hunting for clearance finds at Target, like $4 shirts and stuff. But I would buy it and pray. And I'd be like, let's see if it fits when we get home. And if it didn't, it didn't. But I hate, it's also like overwhelming there. I feel like it's always chaos. There's always someone yelling at you, like recounting the shirts you already counted. It's like, no, I don't have extra in here. I can't. Dusty as hell. This is why I just shop online. I sound like a ridiculously privileged person, guys, but when I tell you that what sounds like minor inconveniences, I promise I just nonchalantly say my OCD triggers, but dust in a fitting room is one of them. I will like hide my hands and not be able to continue trying on my stuff. And I always feel like it's at Target. So I shop online, even if it doesn't look good or fit, I just return it because I cannot stand fitting rooms or shopping. Same. And I like the hunt. I really like finding like a good deal, finding something like, like a hidden gem. I love saving money. So if it's clearance, and if online sales, like you could go, I love Farm Rio. It's one of my favorite brands. And I think they have a pretty extensive size range, an inclusive size range, but their stuff's not cheap. I love it. It's so brightly patterned and stuff, but I stalk out the sales. Like I look for clearance. I set it to show me the cheapest first, let it pull up the results to cheapest first. And I look until I hit my maximum of what I would spend. And I keep my eye out for sales that way. So a lot of like higher end clothes and stores and stuff, if you go on their specific website, they have a lot of times like clearance and stuff that you don't get in store. So Shein is not perfect, but neither are these times. And if I had unlimited means, I'd probably still buy earrings from Shein. They're really cheap. But I don't, so whether or not you hear that they're this fabulous like company that has these great moral ethics and standards, like they got like $5 shirts. All right. I don't think it's not a mystery anymore. So I'm just going to preface it with that. Second of all, they do have things that are terrible, like just awful, cheap quality. I've definitely bought something that looks nothing like the picture before and been like 3 sizes too small. And then I learned to review hunt. So Shein has a point system where if you put up a review with a picture, you get points. If you put up your measurements, you get points. Your height, you get, so the more detail you can give to people on that piece of clothing, the more they're going to the more you can try and find someone that relatively fits your body size or like your frame. And at least you have a better idea if it would be the fit you like. If you want to go up a size, down a size, they'll tell you, does this size big or small? And there's a lot of detail in those reviews. If a product doesn't have a lot of reviews, I save it. And then I'll go back and check it later on to see if it's accrued some, like if it's a new product. But I never buy anything unless there are several reviews and people are like ecstatic about it. And there's pictures in the reviews. Hold on. We're back. But I love the fact that there's just anything you search is on there. A white button up, a sundress, a cover up, shorts, a skirt, earrings, hats, suspenders, whatever the hell you want. They have it all. And they even have press on nails. They have like, and I love the fact that it's like window shopping. Sometimes I'll go on there and I won't even buy anything. I will just put stuff in my cart or like in my wish list. And I just love kind of finding new things. It's like window shopping to me. So I love it. And it's cheap, like I said. So let's see. All right. I love that you guys are talking in this chat so much, but I want to make sure. Okay. I don't know. I said like 52 more comments below, and then there was like 4. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to get through all of these. I had a woman recently tell me that I make girls want to be bigger because of how cute I looked. It was a nice comment, and the woman was so sweet, but I was just, what is happening? It was a nice comment, and the woman was so sweet, but I was just very taken aback by the comment at the same time. But I also feel like it made me realize that, yeah, I can't really hide the fact that I'm bigger. So I guess dressing cute at least makes it a little bit better. Absolutely. So I'll end it with this. So if more people looked like Kendall Jenner would not be special. Nobody would think she's this renowned beauty, or like anybody that's a model. Like there would be nothing like special about them if your average Joe Schmo looked like that. That's just a thought I like to remind myself of. We're all out here just trying to aspire to this level of beauty that like only exists for a select few. That's why it's that desirable standard. If that was common, no one would give a shit. So that's one. Then 2, I have a little bit of a challenge for you guys. And after I finish up this Zoom, those of you who are at a challenge, we're doing a giveaway. So if you want to stay on, I'm going to explain it before the flyer comes out. But my challenge for all of you is I dare you to donate even just one piece of clothing, just one, from the one day it'll fit pile. That's all I want. Start with that, because I think the momentum from that is like the dopamine you get from being like, okay, yeah, that wasn't hard. I did it. I think that will kind of push you and propel you forward to do more. And then I want you to buy one piece of clothing when you can, however you can. It could be a thrift store. It could be anything, anywhere. But I want you to use your measurements. That might be hard at a thrift store. If you're going to order online or something, use your measurements. Don't use a tag. Don't use anything else. Use measurements and reviews, and just experience that. If you need to blame it on this program as the reason you're doing this, then sure, make it your homework. But even if it's just one thing to get to burst that bubble and be able to like not feel constrained to, does my body fit in last year's clothes? Okay. And my last point that I missed before I jumped into that is there is so much attractive, write this thing down, is what we'll end with. There is so much attractive freedom in dressing to please your own. There's so much attractive freedom in dressing to please your own eyes and skin. It is magnetic to people when you feel good, no matter what size you are. When you feel good in your own skin, when you feel good in what you're wearing, when you feel like you're not even bothered, you threw this on and you ran out the door. That is attractive to people. You don't have to be thin to do that. If anything, if you're not thin and you're doing that, people are envying the fact that you truly live your life as a present person who doesn't feel this extra negativity and needless like drama about their bodies. That's so common. We're kind of programmed to above a certain size. But and I'm sure you've seen people like this, they don't even acknowledge it really. They're just like living their life and they're happy, they're down to do whatever. And they just never seem to really care about what size they are. that is attractive. So if you're worried about letting yourself go, no one said that. No one said go look like a swamp monster. You know, make yourself feel, it's all about what you want to look and feel and all of that. If you decide that that doesn't hinder on your pant size, you can have a great time. All right, so I hope this helped. Those of you who are going to hang on for the challenge, stay put. Those of you who are not, thank you for tuning in. I hope this helped, and I would love to hear feedback. So definitely shoot me a message. I have a ton, so I will probably get back to you tomorrow. Okay. So those of you in the challenge, in the Come Alive challenge, we are winding down, right? We only got a couple weeks left. So we're thinking we want to do a giveaway. The goal of this giveaway is to kind of like reinvigorate you guys, because it happens every time. If you're feeling guilty, like I started strong and I fell off, it's literally that happens. It's just a momentum thing towards the end of something. So we want to do a little giveaway to kind of get everyone back in gear as much as possible. We're going to be putting out a flyer this week that will break down kind of like what is needed to get an entry, but I wanted to tell you guys the prizes because I feel like you're going to love them. One, we will do a virtual clothing shopping trip with you. So on Shein or on some other comparable website or whatever, if you have a preferred one, we will book like a Zoom session and we'll go in and try to find different things, like different styles, different, cuts of clothes or whatever that maybe you've tried before. And then the winner will get $50 towards their purchase there. So whatever we end up diving through and it's like, oh, this would be good, we cover the first 50. Then, or I should say, you get the option between 3 prizes. So that's 1. 2, a virtual cooking lesson or a couple session with me on Zoom. Or I will send you a chef's choice where I'm going to send you $50 worth of nutrition goodies that I think you would like based on your food likes and dislikes and tolerances. Anyone international in the challenge, it would be probably from Amazon or a comparable website rather than nutrition. But we would send you like a $50 mystery box of stuff to try. So those are the 3 prizes. The qualifications for it are they're pretty simple. But I will make sure to send you guys in the WhatsApp chats the flyer that just lists everything out for it. And that's going to be running from the 20th to the 27th. So I just want to give you guys a little heads up and to keep your eyes open for the details of that this week. All right, any questions you guys have? Any feedback from this? Like I said before, shoot it on over and I will talk to you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bye.